What did you go out to the desert to see? St. John the Baptist was referred to by the Lord as the greatest of women born. That is something. And yet, he pointed out that we were greater, for we have the fullness of the kingdom, of which he was the forerunner, last of the old and first of the new. A reed shaken by the wind. That would be a description of somebody who would have no backbone, a politician who is easily swayed, a clergyman who will please men and neglect perhaps God. We need a backbone. I remember hearing this from a fellow monk in Italy some years ago. He was quoting some other one in the clergy who had said, it would seem that at the moment of ordination to the episcopacy, something happens. It would seem that the backbone is extracted. We need powerful leadership. John Milton, our great poet, complained already centuries ago, the hungry sheep look up and are not fed. My brethren, this is the first time we are together after a second lockdown. The Lord alone knows how long this space will last before the next. There is a grace, therefore, of hunger and thirst, both for the word and for the body, and also, as it happens, for fellowship, for we need each other. This morning, while reflecting on the figure of John the Baptist, a scene flashed before my mind's eye. It was from childhood, or the end of childhood, beginning of adolescence. I wasn't well. Dad brought me next to him on the sofa, and with his arm round me, read Iesu o Nazareth, in Welsh, a book, Jesus of Nazareth, and it started with John the Baptist. It was very vivid. The good author had brought out all the scene of what happened mentally, by imagination. It's a good author. We forget how puzzling this man was, with a very strange diet and even stranger vestments. A puzzle for all and sundry, I would say. And yet they flocked to him. He could have remained with this attention, but we see from more than one occasion that he deflected it. The finger of St. John the Baptist is presented in iconography. Behold, Ecce Agnus Dei, which we will say right now, as I turn to you with the same Christ. And the priest was to exactly what John the Baptist did, point to another, and not to himself. George Orwell said that good prose is like a window pane. Here too, he points. He has already allowed 2 disciples to go from him to the Lord. But now we see that something is happening just before his execution. The immediate meaning would be that he is in doubt. But if we have a bit of cop on, we will see how clever he is. He hasn't the slightest doubt. He knows full well. He's seen all the signs. I saw the heavens opened. The Spirit of God descend upon him like a dove. This is my beloved Son. Either way, we'll repeat that shortly with the baptism immediately after the Mass. And so, what is he doing from prison? He sends precisely 2 more of his disciples to the Lord to ask, is he the one who is to come? What's he doing? He's very caring. He's preparing them for detachment from him, so as to cling to the real one who was to come and is now there. And the Lord, of course, comes on perfectly and gives that answer. Go back with this message. And as he was saying, he would probably mentally be saying this: we understand each other perfectly well, and I know exactly what you're doing, John. I mentioned that flash from childhood. At this Advent season, I think of others too. I say these because these are the bits you'll remember. You'll forget abstract truths. There was one joy we had in our little family every week. In those days, things were a bit simpler. We were a long time before getting a television, and it was very much controlled. But we were allowed one treat a week, all of us, notice all of us, to stay up late on a Sunday evening, to watch and to solve all together before the black and white box, which more or less functioned, who done it. It was Perry Mason. A very good series. But what was going on as a side effect? There was a sort of fellowship there, a togetherness there, a warmth and a shared joy out of simple things. Another comes to mind, it's what happened at Christmas. We would be together and we would play one of 2 things. Dad would assemble a very big and complex Meccano model each year with engines and everything which functioned, and play with it with us. But we would also play something like Go. It's akin to Monopoly, and it took a long time to win. But we were all together for a couple of hours at least. But we were doing simple things without a huge expense. I make a forced forward to what we're at now. Christmas, of course, will be celebrated, even though many would not be able to go to church and would perhaps not be too upset about it. And much money and much distraction and much loss of peace will be given to finding the most pleasing gadget of all, especially for the little ones who are every year more demanding. If only parents realized that simple joys which have warmth and contact are far more valuable than valuable and costly presents which give you bubbles of humans alone in their house. Think, parents, of these things, because Christmas also acts sacramentally on the soul as a family. The domestic church of which St. John Paul spoke. What is Christmas if there's no peace and joy, but bubbles wanting more for themselves? Don't breed nightmares that must be centers of the solar system. Breed many children that think of their siblings and their parents. And don't addict them to more of what they don't actually need. Addict them with cuddles and love. It's far more valuable than what takes them away from you. I conclude. This is also a week when we think of the Holy Mother. Holy Mass will be here at 1 o'clock, sung on Tuesday, isn't it? The 8th of December. And all are welcome to feast the one who already was the immediate preparation. We talk about the remote preparation. It was the prophets, of which John was the last, and the immediate one, of which our Blessed Lady was the first, and the one next too. One thing they have in common: they are peaceful souls. The desert is a very peaceful place. The PlayStation is not. Our Blessed Lady talked little, we hear from Blessed Anne Catherine Emmerich, but what she said always was worth saying. There was much love in the Holy Family, but few words were needed.
to expand.